In this video, we're going to explore the Moodle Gradebook. You can always access your Moodle Gradebook from your navigation bar over to the left, just by clicking on the grades item, which is the icon for which is a star. Note that you can still access it even if that navigation panel is closed, simply by scrolling slowly down to the star and clicking on grades, and the gradebook should appear. I'm going to close that navigation panel for now. There are two views that we normally look at when we're dealing with the gradebook. One is a grade report, which looks like a typical gradebook. It has the assignments on the top row, and in the left-hand column, it has the learners' names. And note that when I'm scrolling across to see all of the assignments, the learner's names get frozen in the left-hand column. Note also that in the far right column, you have your course total, which would just be the overall grade for the course that's calculated according to the settings that you use. Note also that if I turn editing on here, it will actually allow me to go and input grades directly into my gradebook. Okay. Now, many of these assignments may be graded automatically or may actually be graded by assignment. But whatever the case, you can always input grades directly into your gradebook by just turning editing on. Now, the second view that we like to look at is the grader setup, or the gradebook setup. And what this does is it shows you each of the assignments that appear in your course, their weights, and their maximum grades. Note that at present, all of these weights are grayed out because the course is being aggregated, or the grades are being aggregated using a natural aggregation formula. And what that means is that it simply just adds up the total points for each assignment. So these are 100, 100, 15, 100, 10. So the course total is just going to be out of the sum of those numbers, which is 325. Note that what shows up in these weights is the contribution that each assignment's grades make to that total for the course. So this is 100. This weight is going to be equal to 100 divided by 325 and converted to a percent, which would equal to 30.76%. Similarly, because this 15 is so small, it contributes a much smaller percentage to the overall score. Now, you don't have to keep these weights as they are. You can easily adjust them. So let's say that I wanted this population assignment to be weighted a little more heavily. So I just click on this, and I want this to be weighted 10% of my overall grade. So I just click in 10. That's going to give me that 10%. Save changes, and watch what happens. The 10 stays the same, and automatically these others are adjusted so that your total weight still remains at 100%. Now I could go in and I could adjust each of these if I wanted all of these. Well, we have 5, so they should, if I'm going to be balancing out all of the grades so they have equal weights, I just go in and I put 20 for each of them. Or I could even just put 1 for each of them. And that means that each of these will receive the same weighting, and when I save the changes, again, it's going to automatically adjust them to total 100. But now, because I enforced a balanced weighting, they're going to be exactly 100 divided by the total number of assignments, which is 5, and so each of them are going to receive 20% weighting. Now, that's not the only way that you can weight the courses, and in future weight the assignments, and in future videos we're going to look at weighting and categories. But in this one, we're just looking at how we set this up. Now, whenever you create an assignment, that assignment is automatically added to your gradebook, and that's for any kind of activity, in fact. So assignments, lessons, quizzes, whatever the case might be. But what if you wanted actually to add another assignment, but you don't add another gradebook entry that the students will complete offline or whatever it is, maybe weekly reading or whatever the case might be, and you don't actually want to have to create an assignment to account for that in the gradebook? Well, we can go back to the gradebook view, and we're going there to make sure that we turn editing on first, and then we can go to gradebook setup, and down at the bottom you see that you have two options here: add a category or add a gradebook item. When we're adding a new task but we don't want to actually add a Moodle activity, we just want it to appear in the gradebook, we just add a grade item. And I'm just going to call this new gradebook assignment. Right. New gradebook activity. And we're not using scales presently. Grade type, let's keep it at value. That way we can have an actual score on it. I'm going to give the maximum grade for this at 30%, or 30 points, and save it. And now you'll see that my new gradebook activity is appearing here at the end. Presently, it's not being included in the grade notice because that weight is at 0. I can now, however, change that, and I'm going to put that at 20 again to ensure that it's weighted equally with all of these others, and save. And what do you think is going to happen? Well, yeah, of course. Everything else is going to be balanced because these have to total to be 100. And so all of these will be balanced out to 16.66%. And note that my max grade is going to be changed to 355. So that's how you set up your gradebook, both with assignments within Moodle and assignments outside of Moodle. If I added a new assignment in Moodle, again, it will appear in the gradebook, and then I can weight it straight away to balance it out. So I hope this helped, and stay tuned for the other videos on categories and weightings to see how we can get more complex grading and weighting systems within Moodle Gradebook. Hope this helps.